first of all, I want to thank Wendy for inviting me to be a part of this event today. I'm so excited to talk with you. My name is Kim Osbury, and I am the owner of Staged and Styled. I'm also the lead staging designer. And I have Melissa Pursley here with me. She's another stager on my team, so you might be seeing more of her. A little bit of background on me while we get started. And my clicker's not working. Just a moment. Technical difficulties. Yes. There we go. There we go. Okay, a little bit of background. I'm one of the first accredited staging professionals in the state of Ohio. I received my training from Barb Schwartz, who's the creator of home staging and the ASP designation. I've been staging homes in Northeast Ohio since 2004. I'm the only APSD Stager Pro in Ohio. And I received some training from HGTV designer Joanne Leonard-Weary. I'm also a certified color consultant, and I only recommend Sherwin-Williams products. It's awesome. I'm also a certified interior decorating professional, and I'm a member of several professional organizations. A little bit more. We are the premier staging partner with Wilcox Communities, and our work has been seen on prestigious home tours. We were asked to set the stage for Dr. Maya Angelou, who is now deceased, but when she came to Cleveland, our company was honored to stage the stage where she was presented, and I got to meet her, which was quite an honor. My staging work is featured in the Complete Idiot's Guide to Staging Your Home, so I am published. Even though it's an idiot's guide, I'll take it. And I've also been featured on Fox 8 and Channel 3, and if you'd like to see any of those shows, you can visit our website, and they're on there. So that was kind of fun. And we have an A rating on Angie's List, which I'm very proud of, and we are one of the highest rated staging companies in Northeast Ohio. So, I'd like to take a little poll. Who here is familiar with the concept of staging? Excellent. Who uses stagers currently with your listing? Very good. And who of you stage your own listings? Excellent. Very good. So what is staging? Staging is a technique of preparing, packaging, and presenting a home for sale so that it sells for its highest and best price in the shortest amount of time. Staging is preparing a home to sell to maximize its best features, to accentuate the positive, and draw attention away from the negative. We also provide homeowners with a roadmap where we prioritize all projects necessary to getting the home ready to sell, and that can be before the home is listed, which is ideal, or sometimes you have those listings where you've told them things and they didn't listen to you and the house doesn't sell, and then you call us in and we tell them more of the same things that you already told them, and they allow us to do our work and the house sells. So, don't be afraid to call us in if you have a house that's just sitting. But ideally, you will call us before the sign ever goes in the yard. And the last thing there was we also create a broad appeal. So we target market buyers, and we help them visualize themselves in the spaces. So staging includes developing a project plan, and we emphasize creativity over costly options. We try to minimize the expense and maximize the equity. We use special enhancement, and that exists utilizing existing pieces, rented pieces, or purchased items. So why do we call it staging? We are literally setting the stage for the buyer to envision themselves living in the home. It really is a false way of living. I tell my clients, especially in the kitchen when we're looking at their pantries, I say, now, if you have a little extra time, let's go ahead and line up all our cans, to face forward, and let's line up our boxes. And they ask, oh, really, do I have to go to that much trouble? I said, well, if you've got time, it really does make a difference because buyers go through those cabinets, and when they open up that well-organized, well-stocked pantry, they think, if I live in this house, my pantry will look like this. So it's a false way of living. Their laundry will magically do itself if they buy this house because the laundry room looks so fabulous and clean. Staging is depersonalizing a seller's home, but we don't stop there. Because if you're just telling clients to declutter and depersonalize, the home becomes very sterile. And then that is not a good thing. What we do is we depersonalize, but then we also create emotional connection points throughout the home so that all potential buyers can envision themselves living there. So why does staging work? Buyers are very, very busy. Over 95% of buyers research online first to see which homes will make their must-see list. How many of you know that's true? So really, when they're seeing your listings, they're actually seeing the house for the second or third time. Only 10% of the population can visualize. I'm sure a lot of you are very good at visualizing what a room can look like, but the majority of people who walk in homes and they're vacant, they really cannot see, where the furniture would be or how they would use this space. And a buyer only knows what they see, not the way it's going to be. The internet photos will determine how many times a property is shown, and I'm sure we're going to hear a lot more about that. So it's very important that your photos that you have on the internet are pristine, and that's where I would recommend hiring a professional to do those unless you are extremely good at it, because that will generate more interest, and as you know, more showings equals sold. So here are some examples of some homes I pulled off the internet. These are current listings. If these are your listings, you're getting free advice. So I'd like some interaction. Tell me what is going on in this office. Would you want to work in this office? And why would you not want to work in this office? Anybody? Too much clutter. Yep, too much clutter. The huge dollar bill on the wall, I don't get that. It's kind of odd. Family pictures on the top. All these little tchotchkes hanging off the desk. I mean, it's just kind of a nightmare. So if I were looking at this home, I probably would just go on to the next one. Here's another one. What do you think about this kitchen?
Small, cluttered.
No counter space. And, there is some counters there, but there's a lot of stuff. And sometimes kitchens are small. They just are. There's nothing we can do about that. So we need to create as much space as we possibly can. What do you think about all the plates just lined up military style on top of? Is that staging? Is that attractive? Does that draw you into the kitchen? No. What if that's Grandma's collection of plates that they've had in the home for several years, and they really don't want to take them down? What's something that you could say?
They'd be safer packed in a box ready for your move.
I love it.
Excellent. Yes. We don't want to take the chance of when people are coming in your home for your valuables or your irreplaceable items to be damaged in any way. And I always like to use the word taste specific. When you don't want to say something is just uglier than sin, you say, that is very taste specific. And then that always goes over a lot better. What do you think about this stuff on the refrigerator? Is that appealing? No. No. No, no. Here's another one. What do you think about this room? Children's toys, exactly. So this family, they put a lot of importance on children, which is great, but probably don't want to see it out when you're showing a house. What do you think about the large piece of furniture that's covering up the built-ins? I mean, that's a selling feature, but you can't even see it, really. Or would a buyer know what to do with those? I mean, they're a little dated. They have some mirrors on the back. But if those were staged nicely, they might overlook the fact that they're a little dated. Anything else in this room?
The ceiling fan.
What about it?
It's nasty.
It's nasty. It's very taste specific. Yes, exactly.
Spray paint it.
Exactly, and I love that suggestion. I love spray paint. It's one of the cheapest decorating tools you can possibly buy. So next one. What about this kitchen?
Oh.
Can you see the kitchen?
The seller is not hearing that you need clear counters. That's what that says.
They're not hearing you, exactly. And that's a very good point, because I'm sure all of you go in and you're great real estate agents and you want to sell the house and you want to share with your clients, your sellers, what they can do to sell the house. And so you're telling them, we need to clear the counters so we can, maximize the square footage, and they're not listening. So when your stager on your team comes in and tells them the same thing, it's another reinforcement of what you're telling them. And sometimes we're the bad guys, so you don't have to be. So basically, everything in this kitchen needs to be packed up. You can't even stick it. And as far as the photograph, is that a good photograph? This
No.
is exactly how I saw it on the internet. This person should not take photos and put them on the internet. What about this room? Can you imagine having your friends over? Be a really great dance party because you've got, you know, all this space, but this is what not to do when staging. I think if they would have taken all the elements, you know, like the lamp and the rug and the sofa, and maybe collectively group them, we might have gotten a look or something, but this is just not going to work. I'd almost rather see that room empty. You agree? Okay. What about this one?
Eclectic.
Eclectic, yes, exactly. And we have some, you know, balloons from a party, who knows when that happened, and I don't know, it's just, there's a lot going on. And again, poor quality photograph. And I didn't make these up, I didn't like, you know, these are current listings. What about this master bedroom? Does this scream romance? No, it does not. And I don't understand why master bedrooms are so feminine. Sometimes it's a man that lives in there. So, you know, it is nice to kind of open that up and make it available to both sexes, in my opinion. So, a quick staging tip. If this comforter is solid on the other side, just flip it over. That would increase the value of this room tremendously. There's a lot of other things we could talk about. There's a huge piece of furniture, a dark piece of furniture that's taking up that entire wall, and, you know, the border, and I don't know, the
Pink blinds.
thank you. Just there's so much to talk about, but you get the point. What about this one? This one's a pretty typical living room, something you probably would see a lot. Is this inviting? One of my concerns is that the sofa is in a placement that's blocking the selling feature, which is the fireplace. Exactly. That's a beautiful fireplace, but you can't really appreciate it because you have this humongous sofa that's right in the middle of it. And this unit over here, so many pictures, so many tchotchkes, little tiny items don't photograph well, correct? Typically. Anything else you see in this room that we could maybe suggest to our sellers?
There's something in front of every single window.
Exactly. That's a very good observation. And, you know, a lot of times the view outside is not great, but what if it was? Don't you want those window treatments up so they can enjoy the view and imagine themselves living here? So why does staging work? As we said, buyers are unimaginative. They only know what they see. This was a room in Medina. It was in their basement, and they were using it as a storage room. That really doesn't have a lot of value when they had other storage rooms in the house. So we treated it as an office, and we just used items that the homeowner already owned. And so we created value by turning this empty room in the basement into an office. So the wise seller will give each room a defined purpose. Like I said, vacant rooms do not show well. They're cold and they're lifeless. But we staged this one as a master bedroom, and it was a huge improvement. Again, why does staging work? It's an emotional decision versus an intellectual one to buy a house. People walk into a house and they love it or they don't. And you guys all know that. We are creating an atmosphere for someone to fall in love with the property. So in this room, can you imagine yourself having a dinner party with your friends and the door and anybody? Or is it more feasible to say, I can imagine my friends or my family sitting around this table and enjoying ourselves? It's love. They're buying a dream. So we help create that. So again, why does it work? Because buyers are much more savvy. HGTV has done us a service, but it's also done us a disservice, because now, as I'm sure you'll agree, buyers expect so much out of the houses that they are looking at, which makes it tough for you guys to sell them. They are going to point out every little thing that's wrong. So if we can address these issues before the sign goes in the yard, the showings are going to go a lot better. And they put on what I call buyer's goggles. They just look for all those tiny little things. And this was actually the same house This bathroom, I mean, there's so much going on in it, and the wallpaper, she had started to take it down, but you know, that's the story. They know, sellers know wallpaper's probably not desirable, so they try to take it down, and then they get halfway through and realize it's a bigger job than they thought it was, and so then you walk in to try to list this property, and it's halfway down, halfway up, and that's just not gonna work. So, the biggest mistake sellers make is imagining that anyone and everyone is going to walk into their home and fall in love with it exactly how they live in it. How many of you find that to be true? Or if their friends and family have told them their house is beautiful. They're your friends and family. Of course they're going to tell you your house is beautiful. So this is an example of an unstaged house. This is how we live. This is, you know, comfort. This is, you know, I just got out of bed. Everyone should love me for just who I am. And this is the girl that's staged. That's the same girl. Which girl would you want to offer a date to? Anybody? The one, I'd say you pick this one. But it's the same girl. So that's all we do. It's the same house. We just dress it up. So seeing is believing. Staging homes outshine the competition every time. Here's an example of an occupied home. A lot going on here. And a lot of times in occupied homes, we don't bring anything in. We simply just work with what your sellers have to work with. And believe me, sometimes that's not a lot. But we are very creative. Huge improvement. Just by removing a few things, well, a lot of things. But now you can actually visualize yourself living there. Again, buyers only know what they see, not the way it's going to be. This was a vacant. So staging is not decorating. I know a lot of times people get those two confused. We are not reflecting the style and taste of the homeowner. We want them to reserve that for the new home. And it's not about what you have, but where you have it. Placement is so critical. Here's the house we did in Canton, I believe. And this home had 4 children. It was very well lived in. But it wasn't about what they had. They had perfectly fine things. It was just about where they had it. So we moved around some furniture, and this room showed a lot better, and the house sold within 24 hours of listing. Same thing here. This family had a lot of nice pieces to work with, but again, there's just a lot going on in the space. So the solution was to switch out some furniture and from other rooms and just to create some breathing room. Sometimes you walk in homes and there's so much going on, the buyer cannot even imagine living there. So this house sold in 7 days. Staging is not relying on price reductions to become or stay competitive in the marketplace. Who likes to have the conversation of having a price reduction with your seller? Anybody? Anybody look forward to those? No. Nobody wants to do that. So remember, the cost of staging is always less than your first price reduction. So it's important that you price the home competitively and not just rely on those, reductions to stay competitive. Here's a home that was on the market in Kent for 17 months, absolutely no offers. We staged it, and it had multiple offers within 24 hours of staging. Staging is not about the way homeowners live in their current house, but it allows buyers to envision themselves living in the home. Here's a house. It's a very good example of that. It was in Uniontown, and the woman's husband, I think, was a audio technician, where he went and installed like theater systems and things like that. So as you can see, the TV is mounted over here on this wall. That's the stairway wall, so it's really not the best placement for that. And right here, what you don't see is this huge fireplace. So it's a really awkward placement, but this is how they lived in their home. So that's just not going to work when buyers come in, because typically most buyers would not live in a house like this. So we had them move the TV over to the other wall and arrange the furniture to where it makes sense for the rest of the population. Here's another example. This home was on the market for 10 months with no offers. It looks like a dorm room. It does not look like a family home. And how many times have you guys come into that situation? We had a house in Stowe where the parents had moved out of a 4-bedroom, 3.5-bath colonial house, and the teenage daughter was living in it. What do you think the house looked like? Very much like this, futons and prom dresses and, hat boxes and shoes. I mean, it just did not present itself as a family home. So this house we staged, there we go. Rental furniture and accessories were brought in and the home sold in 3 months with 2 offers, after having lingered on the market for many, many months before that with no offers. So what are the steps to a staged occupied home? The first step is a consultation walkthrough with your sellers. A stager, either I or someone on my team, will walk through each room with your seller and talk about the positive selling features, because I think it's very important that we address those because we want them to feel comfortable with us. And then after you've addressed some positive selling features, we talk about what needs to be changed in the room to get it to show at its very best. Then we assign tasks, and we basically just make a list. I have the homeowner take notes and just write down everything that I'm recommending. And third, we recommend repairs, paint colors, faucets, all types of things. And then the fourth step is hands-on staging. The price for this is $175 for up to 2 hours of time. I'm clicking. Hold on. There we go. What will a stager do in an occupied home? We advise on how to neutralize, depersonalize, declutter. We also have paint color recommendations. We have suggestions for furniture, art, and accessory placement using what they already own. We also implement an innovative, cost-effective updates to revive the homeowner's furniture or other items. A lot of times they have pieces that will work, they just need to be painted, or they just need to have a couple pillows. And so we can make those recommendations so we can really keep the cost down. And we're creative types, so it is kind of fun. We also reorganize furnishings and accessories in both the interior and exterior rooms to enhance the look and feel of the house, because it is very important. The curb appeal is essential to get the buyer in the house, as you know. We hang pictures, mirrors, and other wall art. We also create color, continuity, and flow throughout the home, and we do this through furniture, art, and accessories. As you can look around the room, we have created continuity, color, and flow by the accessories that we have chosen. So it's very much like what we do in a home. The same colors kind of carry through the house, which makes the house flow. We also create vignettes to generate interest and entice a potential buyer to enter into a room. Sometimes if there's nothing in the room of interest to them, they'll just walk on by. They won't realize that it has a great view or it has some other selling features. So we try to entice them to come in. And how we do that is very, very top secret. So, if needed, we combine purchase with rentals to create the wow factor. Like I said, you can advise your clients on decluttering and depersonalizing, and then all you have is a very sterile environment. So you have to bring in the wow factor with the color and art and accessories to get the buyer to fall in love. It's kind of like when you wash your makeup off. You know, it's very sterile, but then to entice a guy to ask you out on a date, you kind of got to put makeup back on. Does that make sense? Okay, all right.
That's so sexist.
I know. I know. That's me. So remind your sellers the way you live in your home and the way you market your house are two very different things. I'll just leave that there while you write that down. So steps to a staged vacant home, which is different than occupied. The first step is that a stager previews the property, and to do this it's $175. Staging recommendations are then sent to the seller and to you. A staging proposal is also sent to the seller, and we try to include 2 to 3 pricing options because a lot of times people don't have any idea how much staging costs, and therefore they can't tell us what their budget is. So we try to send them a few pricing options, and then we also have a paragraph in our proposals that says, if none of the above meets your budget, please let us know what your budget is, and we can try to come up with a solution for you. The next step is that the seller signs the proposal, the seller submits a staging deposit, and then the staging date is scheduled. And then the property is staged with furniture, art, and accessories. So a recipe for sale. The first one is price, and that's for all of you are the experts. You are the experts at pricing. We do not get into that. We don't have discussions about that. We always refer to you as the experts because you're the ones that are looking at the comps. You know what the other homes are selling for in the area. So we have control over price. Location. None of us have control over location. The house is where it is. Condition and presentation. That's where we come in. We make the house look fabulous and help buyers fall in love with it. And marketing. That's where you come in. So you have control over 2 to 3 of the 4 items you need to get a house sold. And it's very important that when a house is staged, that you, let's say you have a listing that wasn't staged, and you had us come in, the buyer or the seller said, yes, I want them to go ahead and stage our property. It's very important to go back and take new pictures of the staged rooms and post those online because that's what's going to generate the interest. And then it's also very important for you to get the word out that your house has been staged. Please come look at it. It's a great way to generate interest. So how can you add a stager to your team? Include a staged and styled flyer in your listing presentation, and I have included one in your packets. It looks a little something like this. You want to pull that out. Talk about the benefits of staging with your sellers. Here are 10 reasons to professionally stage your property. You don't have to make them up, they're all right here. So it's always good when you go into your listing presentation just to start initially talking about your stager and what she might want to do in your home, etc. And staged homes sell faster and on occasion for more money than unstaged homes. Suggest that your sellers call your stager to answer any questions. You may not have the answers, but I would be able to help them. So give them my phone number. I'm always happy to answer their questions. And then send your sellers to our website, which is stagedandstyled.com for more information. They usually want more information. They usually think they know what staging is, you know, based on HGTV. But it's always good to send them to our website, and it takes the pressure off of you to have to explain the whole process and how it works and pricing and all of that. Just send them to us. We are part of your team. So, want to outshine the competition and get more listings? Who wants to get more listings? One person. Excellent. I'll talk to you. So, this is what we're going to do. Offer potential sellers a free staging consultation with your stager just for listing their property with you. I have a few realtors. They say it's kind of hard to get listings right now because there's not a lot of properties for sale. Is that true? Some not. But generally speaking, inventory is low and it might be a little more difficult to get listings. So we came up with this, she and I, and it's been working like hotcakes because it's a little extra added value that you are giving your sellers just to have an edge up over the competition. The price to you is $175. So quick facts and statistics. We are currently in a seller's market. Inventory is low. But even though homes are selling quickly, don't miss out on multiple offers or lose money for your sellers by selling a non-staged home. Staging will help your listings look and show better than a competitor's non-staged listings. And 90% of our homes that we stage, our average days on market is 11 days. And that I compare to 95 plus days for non-staged homes. Is that about accurate, 95, or you think it's lower? Higher?
Depends.
It depends on the property. Exactly. Well, I got in the ballpark. Yes? Okay. Staging helps alleviate stress for the realtor and the seller because they can confidently put their home on the market and rest assured that it will show at its very best. So these are our services. We also offer interior decorating. So I think I had a realtor in here yesterday saying he wanted me to come to his house. So I'm like, absolutely, we will come to your house if you want us to decorate for you. So we also do office spaces, paint color consultations, and redesign, which is using what you already own, just giving you a new look. So any questions? I must have done a great job. You have no questions?
I've got a question.
Yes, Jeff.
How about renting, like, let's say a 3,500 square foot house to rent furniture for that for
Yes.
a month? What does that cost?
You want a ballpark.
Yes.
And I would have to know how many living rooms, how many dining areas, we'll just go, I'll make up a
Average.
number in my head.
Sure.
So a couple living areas, a dining room, we'll do master bedroom, master bath. We're looking at anywhere between 2,500 to 2,700 on average to bring in furniture and have it rented. And that's staging and destaging, which means taking it away, arranging all of the items and directing delivery and all that.
For about a month.
A month,
Right.
exactly a month. We do
Now-
month to month.
Now, how about, what about staging 3 out of the 6 rooms in the house or something like that? Does that make sense or not?
It depends on the property, and that's again, we have 2 or 3 different price points, and we can price out after we've taken a look at the property to let you know what's best, because we want to stage key areas. It's
Right.
not important that we stage every single room in the house. So yes, it does affect price. However, if it's a, $900,000 house,
Right.
the things we put in that house are going to be more expensive,
Right.
so, versus an $80,000 house.
Right.
And that's a good point too. Staging is not just for $1 million homes. We've done $60,000 houses and we've done $1 million houses. So staging can benefit your seller no matter what price point they find themselves in. Thank you for the question. Any other questions? All right, thank you so much.